Because in northern China, they do use a lot of leaf. First, you cut this open. You can cut it on this end. You cut it open like that. See this? Cut the whole thing open. If you want, you can even cut it open a little bit more on both sides. This way, when you take it to the sink, you can tell. You see all this sand and mud and dirt? We're going to take it to the sink. We're going to clean it up, okay? First, you get close to here, and you, one leaf at a time, you make sure every single thing is nice and clean, so nothing gets trapped inside. And then you go, hey, hey, hey. Everything is nice and dry. Don't do that in front of your guests. When this is all nice and done, we're going to cut this up. We are going to open all of these like that, see? And we're going to julienne this. See this? After we julienne this, in the meantime, to save time, we're also boiling a pot of soup stock. You see this? Very nice and very easy. When this is all nice julienne like this, can you see that? When this is all done, you put it right in our broth. Get the flavor out. In fact, if you like, you can even put some mushroom and all kinds of things. And how about cut up some nice carrot to give color contrast? Cut up little chunks of carrot, okay? First, you cut into about 1/4-inch slices, okay? And then you line them all up like that, okay? Line them all up, and you go 1, 2. You see? I don't know why sometimes even vegetable has life. They move around. They jump all over your cutting board. And then you put them all together, you go cut it up into pieces like that. See this? This is how you do a little dice. After this is done, you can also put them right in here, okay? In the meantime, we can also put a kind of green peas. Look at that. Green peas, put it right in here. And also chop up some cilantro. And before I chop up the cilantro, I'm going to put the beef in because I want to make sure the beef is cooked. This is nice and ready. Let us turn it up high so everybody can see. Put the beef, which is already marinated, okay? Put it right in here, okay? Put it right in here. And put some soy sauce if you want. Put a tiny bit of soy sauce to flavor it, okay? About a tablespoon or so. This is, let it bring to a boil. In the meantime, we're going to chop up some cilantro, okay? In Westlake, they use a lot of these cilantro in the Westlake beef. You chop it up, chop it up. You put them all together. And this is all nice and ready, cilantro, okay? Nice, and always clean it up, okay? All you need is about 1/2 pound of beef, not much, okay? When this is all nice and ready, make sure we want to make it nice and flavorful. Add a tiny bit of sesame seed oil, about 1/2 teaspoon to a teaspoon of sesame seed oil, and add a touch of white pepper, okay? And then in the meantime, you get ready the cornstarch solution, okay? Because all the beef is all chopped, it doesn't take too long to cook. You don't want to overcook it too much. This is cornstarch solution. I have 1 portion of cornstarch to about 1.5 portion of water because I want to thicken the whole thing up. When this is all nice and done, we're going to beat up some egg white. Right here, I'm going to beat up some egg white. You know, I do everything by hand. Of course, if you have a beater, mixer, food processor, by all means, use it. You know, modern kitchen. But this is the way that we've been doing it for thousands of years. This is the way I've been doing it for over 100 years. When this is all nice and ready, you see, it brings to a boil. Can you see? It's nice and bubbling. And then you shut it off, and then you put the egg white in. You see this? Put the egg white very, very slowly to make this egg flour from the egg white. When this is done, you can actually serve right out of here and put in this beautiful bowl. Nice and flavorful. Nothing is missing, and it's absolutely fulfilling and a hearty Westlake beef soup. On the shore of the busy waterways, we stop at the town of Shaoxing. Since ancient times, it's always been a place for song and wine. Shaoxing in eastern China is a city whose history dates back 2,400 years. Canals and waterways still provide the main form of transportation for this ancient and cultural city. A tour down one of its many canals reveals many unusual century-old traditions which still continue to reflect a unique way of life. A wonderful Shaoxing wine. The longer you keep it, the more flavor it develops. Here, I'm going to show you how to make this Shaoxing, savory Shaoxing prawn or Shaoxing savory prawn. All I have is some nice jumbo prawns. Nowadays, you can actually buy prawns like this with the head on. And I cut this off. And you can actually saute this or grill this and serve with a pepper salt. Okay? Cut this off. And then after I cut this off, I remove the leg, the little legs like this. I remove this, remove these. Now, of course, before I do this, I already rinse and pat dry my prawns. Now, of course, in the East Coast and some other places in the world, they call shrimp. The big is big shrimp, small shrimp, or the big one is called shrimp, the small one is shrimp, big one is prawn. But these are nice looking prawns. I call it prawn, or big jumbo shrimp. Here, I cut this open like that, okay? I cut this open like this. This way, I can devein it. Now, this one is nice and clean. Starving prawn, no vein. So I put it over here. If you want to shell it in this particular dish, traditionally in Chinese restaurant, they keep the shell on. They don't remove the shell, so it's nice and succulent. But for most of us here, we will shell it for you. You see, I hang on to this because I want to keep the tail. So I snap this and I pull this. After I pull this, the whole thing comes out very fast, like that. The whole thing comes out. Don't throw this away because you're going to put it in the soup stock and make seafood soup stock. And then you can butterfry this, okay? When you butterfry this, fortunately, none of these have vein. This is the digestive tract. So that's why you have to get rid of it. When this is all nice and ready, we're going to marinate this. We're going to have a few of these here, and we're going to marinate, and we're going to cook this, okay? Put this aside, marinate it with a tiny, tiny bit of salt. Wow, look at that, about half a teaspoon of salt. And also, of course, Shaoxing wine. 1 tablespoon of Shaoxing wine, specialty, made from rice. Okay, let's put them all over here. This is cornstarch, 1 teaspoon to 2 teaspoons. And then we heat up our wok, and we can get ready to stir fry. In fact, before I stir fry, I'm going to cut up some ginger. We want to get some nice ginger flavor out of these. This is, let it marinate right over here for a few seconds. And then we are going to get some julienne or shredded ginger. Cut it up, cut it up, cut it up. This is a Chinese-style vegetable knife, a small vegetable knife, very easy to use, called No. 4 vegetable knife. Very widely used in Japan and China. You see this? When this is all nice and ready, we put this right here, and we're going to saute our prawn. Here, I'm going to use about 2 teaspoons of oil. And then put the ginger, julienne ginger right in here. And get ready, stir this a little bit. Allow the ginger aroma to permeate, to infuse in our oil. And then when this is getting there, we are going to saute the prawn, okay? Saute the prawn. Very simple. Look at that. Very simple. While we're sauteing the prawn, we're going to get everything else ready. We are going to first chop up some green onion for garnishing. Green onion, stack them all up and you go like that. This is for garnishing. Let's set it aside, okay? Nice and ready. Put them all together right here, okay? And then also, make sure you toss and you toss. Make sure you are not overcooking this, okay? Nice and uniform. Always toss your wok, okay? Use medium-high heat, okay? Look at that, marvelous. And then, when it's almost ready, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put about exactly 1/4 cup of Shaoxing wine. Wow, look at that. Shaoxing wine, wow. Unbelievable. And then a tiny bit of sesame seed oil. Okay, tiny bit of sesame seed oil, and also soy sauce. And of course, a tiny bit of ginger vinegar. Oh, look at this. And then, of course, put a tiny bit of sugar. Let it braise for a little while. And some nice hot pepper sauce or chili sauce. This is the regular chili sauce without any garlic. Okay? Put them all together. Make sure, let it braise. Let it braise. Let it braise. Look at that marvelous dish. After we are braising it, let it braise for approximately 5 minutes or so, very low heat, just let it simmer, okay? And in the meantime, I want to quickly show you how fast you can do a garnishing. I use this number 4 vegetable knife, and I carve these, peel the little skin right out of here. Look at that. Peel the skin, very, very rotating your tomato while you are seesawing your knife. Look at that. Very, very simple. When this is all nice and done, you roll them all up like this. Very, very simple. You roll them all up, just roll it. This is the easiest way to do a garnishing. And then you have a little tomato flower like that. In the meantime, let us clean this up, and this is done. Wow, this is beautifully done. And we're going to serve these. Look at how beautiful. This is absolutely wonderful. Now, let us garnish this bit. Put this right over here. Put this over here. And then put our garnish right in the middle. Right in the middle. This way, we can garnish this. And then sprinkle a tiny bit of this. You know what we have? We have a beautiful Shaoxing savory prawn. Because Eastern China is so close to water, it is known for its seafood dishes, like this next recipe, fish fillet in a Shaoxing wine flavor sauce. All I have is a big, humongous fish. I'll show you the fish that I just got. I went fishing yesterday, and I got big halibuts. It's about 12 to 14 pounds. In fact, last month, I was in Alaska. I got one 225 pounds. Beautiful, fresh halibut. Here, I filleted, I scaled and I filleted. Look at how beautiful, how big piece. Very, very nice. No fishy flavor or taste. This is how you can tell. Nice firm muscle. I'm going to cut this up into bite-sized pieces, like that, about 2.5 inch to approximately 3 inches. If this is too big, you cut it in half and you continue to go like that, you see. One big pieces, like that. And you put them all together, okay? And then after that, you are going to marinate your fish. We put all the fish here, and we're going to marinate this in a tiny bit of salt, okay? Tiny bit of salt. and a tiny bit of white pepper or black pepper. Okay, Chinese love to use white pepper. And of course, always use a touch of cornstarch. If you want, you can always use wine. Okay, always can use a tiny bit of Shaoxing wine, even for marinade. Okay, but not necessary because we're going to cook it in a wine sauce. Okay, right after these, it doesn't take more than a few seconds to marinate because it is very, very nice and thin pieces. And then we heat up our frying pan, and we're going to add some oil, and we're going to pan fry this. Okay, pan fry our fish. Put them all in here. We pan fry our fish. Very simple, nice, and pan fry. Look at that. Pan fry this, pan fry this, pan fry. Make sure you pan fry it on both sides until they're nice and golden brown. Look at this. It doesn't take too long at all. Only a few seconds to do a golden brown, nice and golden brown. Turn them around. If you have the time, you do it. If you don't have the time, you just let it sit there. It's no problem at all. Let it brown for a little while, okay? And in the meantime, we are going to remove all of these. I'm going to show you the other ingredient we're going to put it in. We're going to have some cloud ear. It's black fungus. It's a mushroom. Looks like this. It's not wood ear, but cloud ear. It's not shiitake mushroom. You soak them in water for approximately 5 to 15 minutes until they're nice and soft. And you break it up, remove the stem. If there's any stem, you remove it. A little hot stem here, and you remove the stem, and you put it over here, and you get ready and get some bamboo shoot. Okay? This is a little bit big. We'll cut it in half, and then we'll continue to cut it up like that, so just the right size. And then after all of these are ready, you put them all together, and then you cook it along with your fish. Because the fish is nice and golden brown, I'm going to show you how nice and golden brown this is. Nice and golden brown like that. And then we put all of these wonderful things in. Cloud ear and bamboo shoot. And then we put a tiny bit of Shaoxing wine. And we'll put about at least quarter of a cup. And I put a tiny bit of soy sauce. Oh, look at that. Soy sauce. And also a tiny bit of dark soy and a tiny bit of light soy. And of course, make sure you have some fish broth or regular home mixed soup stock. Let it sit for a little while. And then, of course, a tiny bit of sugar. Not much, just a tiny bit, about half a teaspoon. Now, what makes this unique is this Shaoxing. Look at this. Shaoxing fermented rice or the fermented rice. This gives a very unique flavor and texture. Wow, look at that. I cannot believe this. And then you cover this up. Look at that. You cover this up and let it simmer for a little while. Okay? Now I want to show you. This, I have another one already done for you. Make sure this is nice and done. And we take this out. Take the fish out. Okay? Nice pieces. Take the fish out. Okay? Take the fish out. And take the fish out. Okay? And then we will show you how to garnish this very simple dish. Okay, first I have all the fish right here. Put it right here. Look at this. Okay, beautiful. And then we will pour the sauce. Slightly thicken the sauce a little bit. Look at that. Slightly thicken the sauce just a tiny bit, and put the sauce right over here. Look at that. Put the sauce right over here. Beautiful sauces right over here. The wine sauce. And of course, after this is done, you can serve right over here. And we have for you a fish fillet in a wine flavored sauce. Now I hope you have enjoyed our trip along the waterways of eastern China, and especially our visit to Shaoxing, the Venice of the East. Remember, if Yan can, you can. 再见。